Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. First and foremost, inshallah, I want to start off by actually commending you guys, because, you know, doing what you have managed to do, subhanAllah, is not something that is very small. It's not something that's very light. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was asked by his wife Aisha radiallahu anha, he was asked, do the women have to perform jihad? Jihad is a thing in which a person gives up their entire life. They're at risk of losing their souls, their health, their wealth, everything. A man will go and come back with nothing. Sometimes he won't even come back himself. And its obligation is so heavy. Do the women also have to fulfill this obligation? And the Prophet ﷺ told Aisha that the women also have to perform jihad. But their jihad is one in which there's no fighting. It is Hajj and it is Umrah. So sisters, this is something that needs to be recognized by yourselves, by us inshallah, that you have performed jihad for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Men and women are not the same. They are not created equal, they have differences. And Allah Azza wa Jal legislated based on the differences accordingly. The men, because He created them with a certain physiological, biological construct, He legislated a particular type of jihad on them. And Allah Azza wa Jal created the women a particular way, and He legislated a type of jihad for them. So this is your jihad. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the believers are only, and then He described them in the following way: ones who believe in Allah, the Messenger. After believing in Allah and the Messenger, they come with no doubt. They don't doubt Allah or the Messenger in any way, shape, and then they do jihad in the path of Allah. They do it with their physical bodies, and they do it with their wealth. And Allah said, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الصَّادِقُونَ. These are the truthful ones. These are the ones who are true when it comes to their iman, their claim that we believe in Allah and the Messenger. So with that said, sisters, you really are on a good track now. You really are on a good place, inshallah ta'ala. But then with that said, I really have to give you a dose of reality. And that is that many people start a certain way and they don't end like that. One of the saddest things that I've seen over my almost decade in da'wah, and I think the brothers will also echo and agree with me, is when you see a person who had so much potential and khair in terms of religion, and this person looked like they might have ended in a very good way, inshallah, and they leave, and they turn their back on this deen, and they do things that you could have never ever imagined. And one of the ways to withhold and stay firm on that guidance that you have, as Ustad Yasin mentioned, is to do shukr to Allah Azza wa Jal, because that will definitely keep the blessing and it will increase it. But there's also another two things that I'd like to add, which are so important for you to do, sisters. I promise you, you're not going to be able to hold on to your iman if you don't do these two things. Number one, sisters, you have to carry on seeking knowledge. You see, other Umrah trips, people come, people go. I mean, you've seen people out here doing Umrah. You probably know people that have gone and come back, but they don't change. On our Umrah trips, with the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal, why is it that a lot of people, they actually go back and change their life? It's when they take the following advice, which is to carry on seeking knowledge. Because here, it wasn't just mere rituals that you were doing, but these rituals were based upon insight. We were teaching you the essence of the ritual at the beginning of Medina. We went through Tawheed, Sunnah. That's the essence of why you were here, to worship Allah Azza wa Jal and worship none but Him. And then you were even told how to do the Umrah and the essence of the Umrah, the intent of the Umrah. And that all makes this experience so much more qualitative, and that has a greater impact on your heart because of the knowledge that accompanied it. And the absence of that knowledge would have just made this a vacation, a holiday, where you would have spent most of your time just sightseeing, going to different masjids, taking pictures, oh look at me, I'm here, but not really making use of your time inside of the masjid. That knowledge, sisters, I really can't stress it, knowledge, ilm, specifically that of who Allah is and how to worship Him, Tawheed and fiqh. These two things, sisters, without it, your iman is only going to be very short-lived. It will be very short-lived and it will expire and it will run out, and then you'll be like, I don't know what else to do. The second thing, sisters, is companionship. If you do not have a good circle of people around you when you go back, sisters, they will take your iman away from you. Your environment here is what's helped you stay strong. Don't think to yourself people don't come to Mecca and don't do sins. They do. But the environment that's been created here has helped you. That's why you got people in the UK who are in the UK, one of the place with so much fitna and evil and fasad, but they're so good, they're so righteous, because they're not alone. They place themselves inside of a network and a circle that's constantly reminding them of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? These kind of people are not necessarily the most exciting people in the world. They're not the most adventurous people in the world, but they are the people that will help you get to the next life, inshallah ta'ala. And there you can enjoy and do whatever it is that you want. But these people, you have to keep them there. And sisters, it's not just any righteous companion, because it could be an innovator, as we've established in previous sessions. It has to be a person who's on the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, following the path of the Salaf Salih. And sisters, don't take for granted the detriment and the evil that can come with social media, that can come with Netflix. A lot of sisters, they, wallahi, practicing everything, come to classes, but they're addicted to Netflix. They watch these movies, they watch these shows, these dramas. Sisters, it's very detrimental to your heart. These are your companions. Whether you like it or not, you might not have any friends that take drugs or hang around with boys or listen to music, but on your Netflix, on your phones, on your YouTubes, on your Instagram, you're hanging around with people who are the lowest of the low, and they're in your ears and in front of your eyes every day. Sisters, you have to protect your heart from these things. You really do, okay? I know at times it may seem like, subhanallah, I don't have much to do, this, that, what can I find as an alternative, as a recreational replacement? Allah will give that replacement to you. Allah will guide you to that replacement. But you have to take the first step and cutting off anything that could be an obstacle or a barrier between you and the target, which is for you to die upon a state of submission, Islam, to Allah Azza wa Jal. Does that make sense? Sisters, with these two things, and the third, which Ustad Yasin mentioned, which is shukr, so seeking knowledge, righteous companionship, and gratitude, I promise you, sisters, inshallah, you will, inshallah, die a good death. You will die a good death. I had a dream of someone that was very dear to me, who's dead now. And I don't dream much anyway, and I saw this person in a dream, and I never ever dreamt about this person. And in the dream, I saw the person in his grave, dead in the barzakh, and he was in a very difficult situation. He hadn't done enough good deeds. He hadn't done enough. He was struggling. He was really struggling inside of his grave. So when I got up, it hit me. I said to myself, subhanallah, not only is he dead and his good deeds have ended, I said, I don't remember the last time I even made dua for him. I don't remember the last time I gave charity in this person's name. I don't remember the last time I did anything that could benefit this person. And that's not because I'm a bad person. I'm a human being, I'm busy, I move on with my life. Okay, the reminder came and I decided to make dua for him and so on and so forth. But the reality is that when me and you die, the same is going to happen. Our deeds are going to be disconnected, and no one else is going to help us. Very few people may, they leave behind a righteous child that may make dua for them or whatever have you. But you can't rely upon these things. You can't rely upon these things. So I'm not saying that dream is the way that I saw it, as in the person is struggling or whatever have you. No, but it was a reminder for me that, make sure you do enough. When that angel of death comes to collect your soul, sisters, when the angel of death comes, just make sure you've done enough. Just make sure you've done enough. And you never know when the angel of death is going to come. So it will cause you to remain in a constant state of just trying to please Allah in every movement that you make, in every situation, wherever possible. So please try to implement those three advices. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum. I want to take you to the Day of Judgment. I want you to imagine yourself opening your book of deeds. and getting disappointed as you scroll over the pages, realizing that there's not a lot here. In fact, as you turn over the pages, you see there's quite a bit of sin. And the good deeds don't really match up to what they should have. But suddenly as you turn over the pages, you start to see all of these good deeds, like memorizing Quran, seeking knowledge, praying the night prayer. But you're thinking to yourself, hold up, I never memorized the Quran. I didn't used to do all of these extra deeds, like pray the night prayer on a consistent basis. How is it in my book of deeds when I never personally did it? And then it becomes clear to you that this is in your book of deeds because there was a person who you helped to guide towards al-Islam. And when they came to Islam and changed their life, you now received all of the good that they did, even though you didn't personally do it yourself. As you know, الدال إلى الخير كفاعله. The one who guides someone to do good will have the reward of that good the way the person who did it, even if you yourself didn't do it. And this is why it's so important, brothers and sisters, for us to support people when it comes to helping change their life. Now, as you know, this is the work that me and my team are involved in. With the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal, we've been changing people's lives for the last few years. And we've got many projects from Madinah Masjid to Knowledge College. But the one project that we've seen that's changed people's life above and beyond anything else that we've seen with Allah's permission is our Umrah trips. We take people who are literally off the streets, involved in drugs, violence, just come out of prison, soon maybe possibly go into prison, all different backgrounds. We take them on these Umrah trips, and there Allah Azza wa Jal transforms their hearts, puts light inside of them, and they come back reformed men. An example of one such brother who we took, he actually came back, and within one space of a year, he took 70 people from his area, from the streets into the masjid. Some of them came onto Deen hard, some of them not as much as others, but he impacted his local community. And he himself has now gone on to seek knowledge, memorize Quran, learn the Arabic language, and he's actively involved in khair. Now this brother wasn't able to fund his whole package. He was funded for by someone generous, someone like you. And they probably had no idea that they were going to pay for this brother's ticket, that he was going to be impacted so much on the trip that when he came back, he was going to help get 70 people from his area into the masjid from streets. Now imagine that person who gave money for that trip, what reward they're going to see on the Day of Judgment. And these are the brothers who are in most need because they can't afford the trip themselves, either they don't have the money or their money is haram, but they want to change. Do you want the reward for them changing? If so, then go to the link below, because we have to fundraise for 10 of them in the next 7 days. We have to fundraise for 10 of them in the next 7 days. Someone's definitely going to give that money, inshallah, and take that reward. Is it going to be you? That's the question. And inshallah, you'll see that reward in the Day of Judgment. So I advise you, for the sake of Allah, go to the link below, say Bismillah, donate whatever you can. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.